Good afternoon, everyone. Ross here with Kary, Roux, and Pig Stand barbecue sauce. Today I'm going to be cooking a crawfish fettuccine, and the recipe that I'm going to use is actually my mom's recipe. If you've ever picked up or bought one of our cans of Queen Bee seasoning, you may have noticed that there's a recipe right here in the back, and the name of the recipe is Royal Cajun Crawfish Bake. This is my mom Debbie's crawfish fettuccine recipe, so today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make it. So first thing that I did is I preheated my oven. Well, I started preheating it to 350 degrees. And then I also, the recipe calls for 16 ounces, one 16-ounce package of fettuccine noodles. So I went ahead and I started boiling my water, and I'm going to cook the fettuccine according to the directions on the package. Now, what else I have here, I'm going to go ahead and get my burner started on my pot. I have 2 cups of onions, a half a cup of bell pepper, a 1/4 cup of celery. All of this is chopped. And then I have a tablespoon of minced garlic. To help cook that up, I have 2 sticks of butter, which is actually 1 cup of butter. And then here I have 1 quart of half and half, a half a cup of American cheese, a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of parsley that's been chopped. And I have 2 pounds of crawfish tail meat. That's Louisiana crawfish tail meat. You can also use this recipe to cook a chicken fettuccine or a shrimp fettuccine. You would just substitute your 2 pounds of crawfish for the shrimp or the chicken. So now that my pot's warming up, I'm going to go ahead and take my butter and I'm going to add that into the pot so that way it starts melting. Then I'm going to take my onions, add those in. My bell pepper. Celery. And garlic. Then I'm going to cook these for about 15 minutes. What I'm looking for is I don't want them to brown. I want them to cook on about a medium heat until they become translucent and tender. You want them to be clear and very soft, but you don't want them to start browning up. So I'll be right back after we finish sauteing these up, and we'll start adding in the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so my onion, celery, bell pepper, and garlic has been sauteing in my butter, and now they're translucent, they're tender. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my flour. And I'm going to let this cook. I'm going to stir it in real well, and I want the flour to cook in the mixture for about 10 minutes. Again, you want it on about a medium heat. Basically what you're making is almost a blonde roux in here by letting it thicken up. Then after that 10 minutes, we just continue stirring. I'm going to go ahead and add in my half and half and let that cook for 10 more minutes. And then after I add my half and half, I'll check back with you. I'll let this simmer for a while for that 10-minute period, and then we'll come back and add in the remaining ingredients. Okay, so now I have added my flour and my half and half into the mixture. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the remaining ingredients. I'm going to put my 2 pounds of crawfish tails. This is my cheese. And my parsley. And while I'm adding everything in, I'm going to go ahead and by eye add in some of my Queen Bee seasoning. I don't have an exact amount for this right now, but I'm going to add some. The big thing to watch is not to add too much. Once this gets finished cooking, this mixture with the crawfish tails and everything's cooked through and through, you can always taste it and add more if you want. And whenever you're tasting, just keep in mind that the pasta doesn't have any pepper and really any salt or anything in it, so you might want to season it a little bit more, the sauce a little bit more than you would like. But just keep in mind that you don't want to over season it, so that's why I recommend tasting it once this finished cooking. But I'm going to go ahead and stir all of this in. And I'm going to let this mixture cook for about 15 minutes. Again, on a medium to medium low heat. What we're looking for is we just want the crawfish tails to cook. The parsley is going to cook down a little bit. It gives it a really nice color. And also we want the cheese to melt and cook into the sauce. So after 15 minutes, I'll show you how to mix it up and we'll put it in a pan and get it baking. So my sauce is now finished cooking. Again, like I said, with the seasoning, I added a little bit at the beginning. Then once it was getting close to the end, I went ahead and tasted it to see, wanted to make sure it was a little bit spicier than it would be if I was eating it on its own, because I am adding noodles to this and I want to make sure that it's well seasoned. But make sure and taste, add a little bit. You don't want to over season it. So now what I'm going to do is I have my pasta that's already been cooked. I'm going to add it directly into the pot of sauce. Then what I'm going to do is I want to mix all of this in so that way all of the pasta gets covered and all blends in well. Stir it up. If the pasta was a little bit stuck together, it's going to loosen up from one another once it gets put back into the hot sauce. Alright, now it's all mixed up. So I'm going to go ahead and take my mixture and I'm going to pour it into a baking dish. Notice it has high walls on it. You could use a casserole dish if it's big enough. But I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. And I want to make one flat layer with it. See, there's a little bit more crawfish on the right side, so I'm going to spread that out. Then I'm going to cover this pan with foil and stick it into my preheated oven. Remember, it was 350 degrees. I'm going to put it in there covered for 20 minutes and let that bake and it'll be done. So now my crawfish fettuccine has finished cooking. I pulled it out the oven and I'm going to go ahead and uncover it. Just be careful of the steam whenever you uncover it. And it is ready to serve. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a rag and serve up a little bit. Use a spoon or a spatula. And there you go. It's our crawfish fettuccine or our royal Cajun crawfish bake from our Queen Bee canister. So again, you can cook a crawfish, you can cook a chicken or a shrimp fettuccine using this recipe, which it tells you that on the back. So if you get a chance, I hope you try it out. And thank you for watching today.